So I'm at a farm catching some ducks. This is why in my last video I was saying I wouldn't be around on Sunday. Nobody probably remembers any of that, but yeah. Duck party. Not for food, for pets. My friend has a farm and needs to get a new drake. Look at how pretty they are. Love, these are the muscovies. Do you remember what color he said these were? Pastel? Something like that? Really pretty. What are you doing? What's up, bird friends? They're being pretty quiet right now. Do you think it's because of the birds and the trees? Were these the ones that were screaming when we got here? Hey guys. Hey, all the little babies. Hey donks.
Oh,
okay, bye.
So wet.
Hey donks. Donks. More donkeys. More donks. Hi. Hello. Hi guys. Hello. Hi, I remember you. I think you're the one who stepped on my foot. Oh, that was fun, wasn't it? I had fun getting to see the ducks. I actually don't even know how much of that making it into this, but it was fun seeing the ducks. All that fun stuff. Farm animals, love nature. I have been doing things, putting some stuff up in the attic, trying to clear a pathway here. I've got some 2x4s, and the 2x4s are going to be going on the ground over here because I want the Adenidia palms to be up and off the ground a little bit. The styrofoam ground here, it has a give to it, so the weight of the pots can push down into it and then sort of clog the holes, and you don't get quite the drainage you need. So I think 2x4s will help lift them up a little bit. The forecast did change, so instead of being 24 degrees in a couple days, it's going to be 22, so that's fantastic. Doesn't really matter. Still have to bring this stuff in. Need to cut this ginger back. It's finally gone away into dormancy. Yeah, so basically I have 2 days to bring everything in. During the process of bringing everything in, I'll be making sure to prune off any dead foliage, which there is an awful lot of because we had that unexpected 28-degree drop a couple weeks ago. And it can take a few days, even a few weeks for that damage to show up. And oh, it showed up on some of the palms. They'll be okay though. Their spears are still looking pretty good. This needs a little bit of TLC. Also, everybody, thank you for your responses to my last, well, not the last video, but the video prior to that where I was talking about the big queen palm and what I should do with it. I still haven't made up my mind yet. I've sort of been running around, cleaning, doing other things, kind of procrastinating a little bit, but it's time to stop procrastinating. Need to get to work. I'll go over the queen palm stuff at the end of the video. That protecting, it's not going to happen in this video. There's no way. I don't have time, and it's too much. First, I need to get all the other plants and the plants that are harder to replace. The queen palm, I mean, I can get a new one for pretty cheap if I want to, put a different palm there. I'm going to talk about it at the end of the video. Like I said, no more procrastinating, no more rambling, time to get to work. Obviously, the first step to getting into heavy yard work, and you're trying to not procrastinate, should paint our nails. Here we go, and now that we're back to hard work and getting things done, go ahead and bring some plants in. Oh, or actually, maybe later. Later sounds good. Right now, not the best time. It wasn't supposed to be raining. Why is this happening? Okay, well, like I said, I'll just have to come back to the plant part later. Yep, still raining. No, I guess I'll just have to get back to it tomorrow. But try again. For a moment, I thought it was snowing, but it's just like mist. Also, I'm wearing shorts and I'm not even cold, so why on earth would I think that it's snowing? Psyching myself out now. Okay, let's all take a quick moment to appreciate my cat's balancing skills. Look at that. Oh, she saw me. You're not supposed to be up there. What are you doing? Oh, no, I think she sees a bug. What is she doing? Oh. Up again. Hey, but oh, my flash is on. Didn't even realize. I at least got the Adenidia palms dug up. These were in those blue pots, and they have a lot of frost damage from that unexpected frost we had. They'll be okay, though. I'm going to have to cut off most of the foliage, though. That's alright, though. They grow quick. I might repot these. Not tonight, though. I think that tonight I might just let them rest, because I think I mentioned before the low's only like 50. Yeah, but I have to say, these are like way cuter when they're in their tiny little pots. They need bigger pots, though. Also, it's grainy and dark. I'm sorry. No, I'm not out here filming in the middle of the night. It's 5:15, maybe 5 o'clock. Yeah, the timekeeping people turn daylight savings off, so it's dark early now. That's just lovely, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. Wish they'd stop doing that. Just leave it ahead. It's 1 hour. It sunsets earlier anyways this time of year. Just leave it alone. Anyways, yeah, so those are up, soaking wet, and I'm very dirty now, so that's fun. Not gonna lie, I'm very restless. I was really looking forward to getting this stuff done. Oh, and the nail polish thing. That didn't last. I don't know why, but it had forever to dry, and it, like, just sort of came off. I don't know what that's about. The other hand's still there, looking fine. Doesn't matter. It was just for jokes anyways. Okay, finally, morning. Well, noonish. I've been out voting. That took a few hours, actually. But, I'm ready to get going. Sadly, I mean, it's like 11:30 or noon and the sun's already moving out of here, which kind of stinks, but whatever. This isn't really an outdoor video anyway. So I decided I'm gonna go ahead and repot these. It's really not ideal timing. I'm gonna have to be very careful because with the cold damage, they're gonna be extra sensitive to having their trunks messed around with. Bruising can happen very easily in the heart of the palm and kill it. But they don't stand a chance during winter. Well, but it's actually always a struggle during the winter keeping these hydrated as it is because they've outgrown their pots so much, and you can see the roots are lifting out fairly high from this one. So I'm gonna go ahead, run to Lowe's very quickly, and see like if I can find the biggest, cheapest pots and come right back. That's right, Lowe's. Okay, biggest, cheapest pots I can find, preferably lightweight with holes in them. These are some ridiculous clearance prices. Oh, it's Alan Roth. He's fancy. Not that I don't like him. This is Alan Roth too, $19.99. Only 19-inch though. It's not really much of an upgrade. Oh, there's a cold breeze. I have to pee. And these were the only 20-inch pots that they had, so I guess they'll have to do. Like I mentioned, they had whiskey barrels, but I don't want to use whiskey barrels. That's partially because they are wood, so is this saying that I can just, what does that say? Out, what? Punch out, oh, okay. That's kind of nifty, that sort of just popped right out. I went ahead and drilled bigger holes in the middle though. See, it's sort of like a little piece still held on. I think it's the same with this one too. Yep, just one of them. It's actually a pretty decent batch of Miracle Grow. A lot of peat in there though, which I'm not thrilled about. It's going to retain a lot of moisture, but I've added some sand in here, some of the Espoma palm tone, which is very dirty, and holy crap, smells so bad because I mean there's basically dried poop in there. I'm pretty sure there is in their other ones. So doing that, want to make sure it drains really well. Adenidias need excellent drainage, particularly if you're not going to have them in really hot weather, and the winter time it's not going to be really hot in my grow space. So this will have to work. Should be fine. It's not a huge upgrade, but like I said, I think it'll just have to do. And it doesn't need to be a huge upgrade, really. I just need something that's going to have some fresh soil and some fresh nutrients because these guys had frost damage. I need them to really push out their new growth quickly. Okay, these are really rooted in there. I'm going to need to cut these off. That's going to be better for the palm anyway since I'm trying to be kind of gentle with it. I'm having trouble talking, which isn't great because I have a lot to do today and I wanted to vlog it. Anyways, going to go find something to cut that pot up with. Holy moly, that is the, well, maybe not the hardest, one of the hardest times I've ever had getting a plant out of its pot. Those edges where they come over, you can see here, root bound. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up. I think I'm probably going to have to take a blade and cut some X's in there and pop this into its new pot. And then do it all again with this one. And then move on to bringing the plants in. That's what I need to be doing. But I just feel like this is their best shot at survival. Change of plans, they lied about the dimensions. I don't know who measured it, but that was an exact fit. So this was not an upgrade at all. A little bit annoyed right now. I got on Amazon though, and I ordered a couple of 24-inch pots they're like $19.99 a piece. They'll be here Saturday morning, which unfortunately means it won't make it into the vlog, but I mean, it's gonna be just I'm just gonna pop it. It's not a big deal. You're not missing anything special. If you're not watching this the day it came out, the vlogs come out on Saturday, so that's why I was saying it won't make it into this one. Okay, time to move the areca palms. And, oh my goodness. This has gotten very colorful. I mean, it's mostly because of the fall leaves that have fallen in there, but oh, it's looking so pretty. Okay, so now I go through, I cut the old stuff out, clean the pots up, and get these old bases out. and open things up a bit and inspect for insects. Mostly mealy, but you know what? I think I've had it at this point. I sprayed this guy monthly, gave it systemics in 3 years. 3 years been battling these mealy bugs. Almost wiped them out last year. And if they're still doing their thing during the summer, that's a bad sign. I'm over it. I'm getting drastic here. All the foliage is coming off, except for the center spears. It'll be okay. This is the best way to open it up. Allow for airflow, for me to be able to get in there and manage these. They lay their eggs down in the soil, so this is still going to be an ongoing battle, but I am sick and tired of dealing with these mealy bugs. I'm well aware this might seem rather dramatic. Hear me out though. I've been trying to get rid of these suckers for multiple years. I've run the gamut through the organics, the chemicals, and I don't like using harsh chemicals. It's not good for the environment, but you reach a point where it's like, okay, if I just let this keep on going, it's going to spread to my other plants, which it did, but when I treated those plants, it went away. With the areca palms, not so much. I've noticed a pattern, and that pattern is that I get it under control, and then in the fall, they come back. And that kind of makes sense. Makes sense because the majority of the research out there when it comes to mealybug issues strongly suggests that your insecticides, your systemics, are most effective when your plants are at their maximum peak in growth. That was hard to say for some reason. But when the plants are in active growth, that's what I'm trying to say. And then in the fall, temperatures are cooling and they go out of active growth. And then whatever's left, I think, goes ahead and just multiplies like crazy. And it's darker out here. The sun's lower in the sky, so they get more shade, and the mealybugs like dark spaces. The systemics, those go into new foliage first. So if I get rid of all the old foliage, all they have to feed on is the new stuff. Right? There's obviously a downside to this, and it's that where chlorophyll is a pretty important part of plant growth, so I am going to have to fertilize these guys like crazy to get them to flush out their new growth up there, but they're going to be okay. And I say they because I'm probably going to have to do this to my other one. I have 2 of these guys. And I kind of want to clear out the little trunks in the middle anyways. It'll be okay. Don't worry. It doesn't look great. But actually, this is going to look a lot better next year when it doesn't have all the foliage down there and the trunk's more visible with some nice fronds coming out. They're going to look nice. It's just, yeah, I mean, extreme. Ideally, at this point, I would also go ahead, unpot this thing, get all the soil out of there, put fresh soil and everything because the eggs are typically laid in the first few inches of the soil. This isn't the time of year for that. That's really pushing it. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to give this one more treatment with a systemic, but I'm going to wait until I move it in. I'm going to be very careful pouring it in there. I don't want harsh chemicals in the grow space because of, well, the fish and the orchids, and I don't really like using them, period. So, but you know, desperate times, right? So this is my last ditch effort. If next year this time there's still a problem, nope, done, gotta go, because it's just the areca palms. Although, since these still had the mealybugs on them, even though they were pretty much gone a couple months ago, I thought I really had gotten rid of them this time. And then after it gets this systemic and lots and lots and lots of fertilizing to go ahead and encourage it to flush out that new growth, I will be doing things organically, rubbing alcohol, peppermint oil, DE powder, all of those fun things, because I go all organic all winter long. I prefer to be that way summer too, but not in this particular circumstance. It's a battle I've been dealing with for a while. And that ended up taking so incredibly long that the sun is about to go down. And it's 3:30. So, okay, there's an hour until the sun goes down. But still, I'm losing daylight here. So, I don't know. I may just do what I can here, pick up where I left off tomorrow. All the old fronds and everything I cut off, I'm putting into a pile. I'm going to let them dry. Use some of that into compost that'll be shredded, and then some of it I'll be using to dry and use for insulation around plants for winter protection and all those fun things. I don't throw everything into yard waste, just the things that I can't really use, which is oak and maple leaves. They compact too much, hold too much moisture. I don't like them. But yet, this is not, I gotta get back to work. Areca, not as bad. Foliage is still looking pretty good on there. Wasn't seeing much going on with the mealybugs, but since they sit side by side, they go right next to each other, I thought, go ahead and get at least the old foliage off and stuff that's had some powdery residue left on it. Had to defoliate the spindle palms too, not because of mealybugs though, that actually is from frost damage. The green that was left on there, I left on there because the more chlorophyll, the better to keep things moving. Keep things, is that what I said? I meant to say keep things. On these, there's still some chlorophyll in there, it's even in the trunks, but This is going to need a lot of supplementation through its feeding, through watering. Yeah, the spindles, having to defoliate them, cut all their foliage off. That's because, if you don't know, if you don't remember me talking about it, a couple weeks ago it dropped down to 28, but it was only forecasted to go down to 42. So yeah, they didn't handle that very well. Neither did the Adenidia palms. So that just kind of stinks because these are slower growers with the other ones. I'm not as bothered by it. Even with the arecas that aren't the fastest growing palms, but they grow faster than spindles. Spindles are slow growers, especially in the wintertime, because I really don't water these very much in wintertime. Not unless I can keep the grow space really, really hot, which I probably will be able to do this year, but I never really know for sure. But assuming I can keep things nice and warm, I can still water them a little bit more regularly. Talking is so hard. Even so, not that often, like maybe once every other week, they get a mild soaking, just enough so the water comes out the bottoms of the pots. So yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, they're gonna be okay. The spears are nice and firm, so they're all right. It's just a bit of a setback, but I mean, it could be worse. I'm glad they didn't die. 28 is a drastic drop, and they can go into the mid-20s as long as it's dry, and it was, but it's more the drastic change because it had been fairly warm, and then that's a huge temperature change. When things go a little bit more slowly, that's better for them. But it's, like I said, I'm just glad they're alive. They're okay. This is a sad year for the palm trees. Mealy bugs and frost damage, all that. Just not ideal. Okay, I do have something I need to do over here. I'm gonna do like a quick tropical compote. I'm not trying to make it look pretty, but I have a lot of small like odds and ends is like little things, and I thought I'm just gonna go ahead and put them in a larger pot so that they're together. They're gonna be easier for me to water. Just kind of makes more sense that way, but it's not necessarily going to look pretty, especially because this pot has absolutely had it. It needs to be repainted, but I'm not worried about that for the winter time. That's not a big deal. So I have some gingers in here that I pulled out. They were around the big spindle palm during the summertime. And then that's partially because I have another one of these Alpinia, the Zarumba's variegata. The thing with them, with my other one, is it has gotten so incredibly big that it is really heavy. That's mostly because of the pot it's in. And I tried getting it out of that pot. I mean, I used blades, knives, everything. Everything short of getting in there with like a saw. I maybe should have tried that. And the pot is beveled, so the top's smaller than the middle. I can't get it out. So I'm just going to let it go and hold on to these smaller ones. And there's nothing wrong with that. It'll be fine like that. So I have these guys. I have this hibiscus. This is the Confection Perfection that I had in a much larger pot with an Enset Morellii, the red Abyssinian banana. But that red Abyssinian banana flowered. It was nothing worth showing off. Once they flower, the plant dies. So, and they're not a banana that puts up pups or shoots or anything. So it's gone. It's fine. Had it for like 6 years. It's just a pretty long time. But I don't need to bring that giant, massive pot inside just to preserve the hibiscus. So I'm going to repot that in here. And just, yes, just lots of other little things. I'm going to toss that together real quick, and then I'm going to start moving plants in, I guess. Yeah, there it is. Easy. Just drop the ginger in there, a hibiscus, a small little palm seedling, a crinum offshoot, a piece of this Hamelia patens, and a nice little Dracania here, and less pots to have around. These are plants that aren't going to do much during the winter time, so they should be fine together in the spring. I'll just pull them apart and do what I need to do with them. See, I do need to stake up this hibiscus, but I'm not going to bother with that until I move it in. Because once I get this on the dolly, it's going to go floppy. Everything's going to kind of fall back a little bit, so I'll just wait until I have it inside. Now I need to finish getting the inside area ready. Okay, I've got my shelves set up. This top one is just going to be for like small pots and things. I'm not putting plants on it because I think that'd be a bit top heavy, but it's just more storage space and I can hang lights from them, so that works out well. All right, now I'm going to come up here and swatch out I'm going to swap out that CFL with this LED shop light. Yeah, there we go. The thing I really like about these shop lights is that they're linkable. So I can come over here, give that a pull, and this one is powered by that one right there. Which really works perfectly because I've had a lot of trouble getting light back there in that spot for a while. I will say, that's not going to be bright enough, I don't think, so I may have to figure something else out. I put up another eye hook so I can put some stronger spotlights in for the plants that go here, and this doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and move the plants in. It's finally time. You know, I'm actually really excited to get things moving and get this done. It's been a long time coming. I've been prepping for a while. And there is a specific order. The most tropical and large plants go in first because they'll be closer to the house where things are better insulated, and then things that can handle more of a dormancy, like the mule palms and windmill palms, those go in last because that's closest to the garage door where things are more drafty because those big doors open and close. Okay, plants are in. See, I still need to water these guys in, but I should probably wait till morning to do that. Just, I don't know, it's getting kind of late. I don't know. I feel like it's a little cool in here. I want the heaters to kind of kick on and warm things up a little bit more from having the garage doors open for such a long time. Some of them are getting a little bit too tall to be in here. So I'll have to figure something else out with those guys next year, but overall, things are pretty good. There's still some space in here, but that's because I haven't actually put the plants where they're supposed to go permanently yet. Like there's just a pile of plants over here in the corner. These were freshly sprayed, so I kind of wanted to keep them away from the pond a little bit. Or I didn't spray them. What's a systemic? I gave them a systemic. Just some creepy crawlers on here. Wanted to go ahead and get those off before they're like mingled in too much. But I mean, the distance is not very much. So, but still, and I can't put the plants away yet, which is unfortunate. But I would like to have them set up and whatnot, but I'm still waiting on those pots to come from Amazon. And one of them says it'll be here Saturday morning. The other one says Monday. I don't know what that's about because I ordered them at the same time. And they were guaranteed delivery by Friday when I placed the order. So, you know how that Prime goes, though. It's only $120 a year. What's the big deal? Why should they stick to their word on things? That's shady. I shouldn't say that, but it's kind of true, though. Costs way too much money. Lights are up. I don't think that this shop light back here, I mentioned this before, I don't think that's going to work because the grow lights really do need to be kind of close to the foliage, especially if they're low intensity LEDs. So I'll probably do something else up there, probably something similar to this, and see how that works. I haven't arranged all of these guys yet. They still need to be organized and put away. Like I have the orchids on the same shelf with the succulents, and I got my orange tree here, my Calamandan orange over here with the cactus, and then the other guys. It's just, the main thing is I wanted to get them inside just as quickly as possible, really, because it was supposed to be 24, and then they said 23. Now they're saying 19 degrees, and it's supposed to snow tonight. I've never had a November like this before. This is January weather for sure. I'm not thrilled about it, but hey, the plants are in now, so I can just sit back, relax. I mean, well, not really. There's a ton to do. But the hard part's over. The tires on the dolly, on the hand truck I used to move these plants, those busted, like they popped when I moved the areca palms in, because they're kind of old, and those are extremely heavy, big ceramic pots that those are in. I guess I could show them to you a little bit better. There they are. They're very big and very, very heavy. So that made moving the rest of the plants kind of difficult. I, tried to fix the flat and whatnot, but that only does so much when you put something heavy on it. Particularly this pot, the fix the flat doesn't work. This is so heavy. I forgot how heavy this cactus planter is. Like, holy crap, heavy. This was by far the hardest pot to move back into the house. It was so, it's halfway full of lava rock, so duh. If I redo this, I will be using like old water bottles or something like that, broken terracotta pots, something else, because it's so heavy. But it's pretty. It's doing well. And the nice thing about this, with the exception of the euphorbia, I might need to lift that euphorbia out of there. But everything else in here is going to want to be really dry and cool during the winter time. They don't need to be cool, but I prefer to keep them a little bit cooler than the rest of the space. I have another sheet of plastic that's going to go up right here, and that plastic will actually... Ow. I just stabbed myself. The plastic goes here. So everything past my arm and there, that's going to be nice, warm, and humid. Then everything out here is just going to be garage temperature. And it's fine, because I don't water these things during the winter. These are plants that don't want it. Except for the euphorbia, however, that is a South African succulent, and it's going to want to be watered during the winter time. So I'll probably lift that out and then put it over here on these shelves where I'm going to be putting those shop lights. There are other plants that are similar, like the Othana capensis, and I'm going to have to organize them that way. But there's going to be a dry side and a wet side to things. So where the orchids and the more tropical things go, I want to have a shelf dedicated for propagation. And then the more dormant type things will probably go in here. And then the fully dormant things like my curcumas and gingers and things like that, those will be going on the floor down here. And I'll have a piece of plastic over all this to keep the water from getting in there. The temperature outside right now is about 33 degrees and it's 63 in here. So a 30-degree difference, that's not too bad. considering I only have one heater running right now. The other heaters are still up in the attic. I need to bring them down. I was a little bit concerned because I seem to recall it being a lot colder in here last winter. But I think that's because I managed to get it really hot when I had this wrapped in plastic, and then when it was in the 80s, suddenly 70 started to feel cold in here. Maybe that's all that was about. The orchids are still doing well, still budding out and spiking. There's even a few more that are spiking, I noticed. I'll probably just talk about that in an orchid update at another time with the better camera, but there's a dendrobium down there that's getting ready to do its thing. And the areca palms, you know, I defoliated them, but some of them are already starting to pop open. So it's the next day, by the way. I moved all these in last night. It's the next day. I was so tired. My throat was hurting. I couldn't talk. I was like, I'll finish filling everybody in tomorrow when I'm actually done bringing the plants in. 'Cause there were still a few things left I need to bring in this morning. I didn't actually really vlog the moving process just because it's, kind of boring, really. I'm just moving the plants and probably complaining about it the entire time. Not really. But I did try to keep the pots hosed off and whatnot so I didn't bring too much dirt in here. I'll have to clean this up and whatnot when all is said and done. And that's fine. I kind of actually like the cleaning part. Oh, and I did manage to pick up a shop light that, well, it's just a shop light for T8 fluorescent tubes, but at Lowe's they had some T8 LED, they're not LEDs, they're real LEDs, but they're fluorescent LED tubes that are daylight, and I think it said they were 65 or 6700 Kelvin, which is closer to where I want to be with the plants, unless I'm going more into the blooming end, then I want to be lower, down below 3, where things are more red. The spectrum is more red, that is. But anyways, because with the LED shop lights, these guys up here, these are 5K, which is okay. It's a nice clean white, but it's very fluorescent. And it's not really probably going to do the trick, especially from a distance, unless it's really close to the plants. It's just not the optimal spectrum. I also had been thinking about changing out these tubes with ones that are actually meant for plants, but when I look at these, I noticed, see if that'll focus, these are hardwired in, and they just kind of put glass over the strips to make them look like LED, or to look like fluorescent tubes, and to protect them. But this isn't like a fluorescent tube where you can just twist it and pull it out and put in a new bulb. That's not going to happen. So, in order for me to test out an LED tube style light that is more effective for plants, I actually have to put that in a fixture made for fluorescent lights, which is fine. It's pretty cheap. It worked out to be about the same cost. It was like $12 for the pack of bulbs, and it was about $12 for the fixture, so about 24 bucks, and I think these were 25 a piece. So that works out fine. The only downside to it, though, is that they're not linkable. So, whereas with the other ones, like I showed you before, with these guys, you can hook many of them up together. You can see there's a little piece there where you can plug them in, which also, I wish that that had a plastic cap in it. They should really do that, because these are shop lights. Like, moisture and things can be flying around. There shouldn't just be an open outlet up there. There should be a plastic child-proof cap you can put in there. I'll go buy one just to be safe, but I shouldn't have to. There shouldn't just be an open hole in there that has electricity running through it. That doesn't seem smart. Just saying. Seems kind of dangerous. The roots on this Monstera, oh my goodness. Look at that. Now, these have aerial roots that come out, but a few of its aerial roots went down into the fountain, which I knew it was doing, but I was waiting until I was going to bring it in to talk to you guys about it, because I wanted to let it do its thing. But, so you can see up here, the aerial roots, they have more of a woody texture to them, and they're singular. They're not branching out. And it's very, let me go ahead and spread it out a little bit. But it's very, very clear looking at this. You can see where these went into the water. In fact, it's long enough I can even drape it all the way over there and get that into the water. So it put out these aerial roots that found moisture. They went into the water, and they branched out into a finer root with more filaments in it that can take up that water. And I think that's really fascinating. Yeah, and you can see where the roots got wet. They're greening back up. These are probably going to die off unless I actually bury them in some soil, so I'll have to figure that out. Its pot was really old, so it broke. It was a really, really old pot that I wasn't really very attached to anyways, so I do need to repot it. I didn't really mention, this is my variegated Monstera deliciosa, or as Rachel at Gardening at Duensis, she calls them the delicious monsters, which I love that. Yeah, it's done some growing. It's not like one of the fancy hybrids with little leaves. It's a big Monstera. And I want to pot it up in something that's a little bit more sturdy this time, because it's a lot of weight. But it's a pretty plant, very slow growing. I didn't mean to do that. Tore a leaf a little bit. It'll be all right. But yeah, I just thought that was really, really cool. The philodendron I repotted in a video a few months ago, it's coming along nicely and enjoying that repot a lot. And, you know, maybe I'll wait until all the plants are in and can do like a plant tour. That would probably make more sense. So yes, next week I will be maybe putting another layer of plastic on the outside. I need to tape it back up to the ceiling that's kind of come down. And yeah. You know, if I want to do this more permanently, I could put those around a 2x4 or 2x2 or 1x1. It wouldn't need to be anything much and screw them right into the stud. But I wanted something that'd be easy to take up and take down. That's why I have them on this chain up here. And it's working out fine so far. I just need to retape it. I was thinking I'd either use like flex tape or Gorilla Tape this time. I know Gorilla Tape comes in an extra wide and so does flex tape. I think Gorilla Tape is a lot cheaper, so I'll probably do that. In the past, I just used like really, really cheap duct tape because I didn't want to tear the paint off the ceiling. I don't really care about that anymore. It's fine. Because even the duct tape tears some of the paint off the ceiling, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, basically I'll be putting up the rest of the plastic, sealing this place in, finishing with lighting, working on the irrigation. I want to get that set up for the pond. I want to get a system set up so it's very easy to water this year. And maybe a misting system to work with the humidity. That's going to be a bit of a puzzle, but it's something I want to get done this winter for sure. Okay, now I should probably go outside and actually look at the queen palm while I talk about this, but it's dark out and it's very cold. I don't really want to. But in the video, a few videos ago, part 1 of me prepping to bring the plants in, I was asking for you guys' opinions as to whether or not I should go ahead and try and save the queen palm or not. And then some things changed. First, I want to say thank you everybody for your responses. I appreciate it. There were some great suggestions. There were a lot of people saying that I should keep it standing, which I had mentioned in the video. I can't do that because, well, it's too tall. I can't get anything up there and around that, safely at least. And my HOA doesn't allow freestanding structures, which I didn't mention in the video. But I can't build anything up that tall. I worry the neighbors, somebody might complain. Then I'd have to take it down in the middle of the winter and the palm tree would be screwed. But that doesn't really matter because with this temperature change, 19 degrees, that's just not enough warning. I don't have time to get that thing protected. So I'm just going to have to sit back and hope that it's okay. I've put a few bags of mulch around it, but really it's the crown that's the most sensitive. And I've had queen palms make it through almost the entire winter in pots before. So I don't know what's going to happen for sure, but I know that I don't have the materials as of today with 24 hours notice or even a week's notice would be hard to gather the materials to fully protect it efficiently. So there's nothing I can really do at this point. In the future, say if it doesn't make it through the winter, then there are lots of other things I can do there. A Pindu palm, Putea capitata, I think would look wonderful there. They grow more slowly, even at their maximum height of what they would achieve this far north. I'd be able to protect it by myself, no problem, unlike the queen palm that's so tall I can't even get up around it. They're pretty. I like the ones that have the more of a blue foliage to them, and they're more cold hardy. I've overwintered those lots and lots and lots of times. They're very easy to keep alive in the wintertime outdoors, as long as just basically you need to keep them dry and above like 10 degrees, and they're okay. So basically what I'm saying is if the queen palm doesn't make it, there'll be other options. It's not worth the risk of dealing with the ladders and the heights, and I'm not really afraid of heights. That's a whole long story I'm not going to go into. It's personal. But it's not going to work. Digging it down, digging out the root ball a little bit and letting it fall down and protecting it this way seems kind of dangerous. So I don't know. It's something I need to think about a little bit more, but either way, there's nothing I can do about it when it's going to be 19 degrees and potentially snowing within 24 hours. It's just not enough notice. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm disappointing people and letting them down, but it's my plant and I've had it for 14 years. It was actually a birthday present. I have some sentimental attachment to it, but it's, you know, just the way it goes. This is life. Sometimes you just gotta move on and look forward, and it's okay. But my point was really, I just want to say thank you everybody for your input. I appreciated it a lot. Next week's videos are going to be a little bit wonky. What I mean by that is they're videos from October. I usually film like maybe a week in advance at the most. When I was going to Florida, I filmed 2 weeks in advance so that I could just like chill and whatnot and stay on a good schedule with everybody and with YouTube. But I ended up doing so many fall planters that I had to release those fall planter videos before the ones that weren't fall planter videos. Does that make any sense? Basically what I'm saying is I have an aloe vera video where it's clearly I'm outside and the palm trees are still out and everything because I didn't have time to release it with the other fall planter videos. I thought it would be weird to release the fall planter videos in November. That's what I'm trying to say. So they just got pushed back. So that's all that's about. So the timeline's a little bit off, but that's okay. That's fine. The vlog will be the same. I don't know what's going to be happening. Things are going to be different the next few months because I'm trapped inside. I still have a few things I'd like to do outdoors, though. See, someone was asking about my Schlumberger truncat, my Thanksgiving cactus. It does have buds on it. It was outside when we had that freak 28-degree spell, so it's not as heavily... So it's not budding as heavily as I would like it to, but yeah. Overall, very productive week. Lots of vlogs. I'm sorry I spread them out the way I did. It's just kind of the way it had to be done. Otherwise, it would have been like an hour-and-a-half long vlog on Saturday and nothing during the week because I didn't have time to film anything during the week with everything I had going on. So I thought, well, I'd just bring everybody along for the ride, and thanks for joining me. Like I mentioned, next week I'm going to be working on plumbing and some other things with irrigation and trying to get things looking more set up and pretty in here, which I'm really looking forward to. I like to have things somewhat aesthetically pleasing, so I'll get to doing that next week. Right now, just wanted to bring them in. Oh, and I had mentioned before, several vlogs ago, that I wanted to give little shout-outs here and there to people for being awesome. And I said I was going to do it every weekend, and I completely forgot. But the internet's an ugly place, and I'd like to thank people for being awesome. Y'all are always awesome. But on Instagram, Inkpad, right there. Always a delight. Appreciate your comments. Always a lot of warmth and cheer, so thank you for that. Speaking of Instagram, I have my social media linked down below in the description. I use Instagram more than anything else, but that's a good way to get a hold of me or talk to me, and just follow me and I'll follow you back. It's a lot of fun looking at everybody's pictures. It's a blast. I love it. Oh, she's so thirsty. That's how you can see how the leaves are crimped up like that. Yeah, you're gonna be okay. Just have to be a little bit patient. Your soil's still very, very cool. Why am I talking to the plant like it can hear me? It's already begun. Winter hasn't even set in. I'm already losing my mind and getting cabin fever. Don't forget to like the video. It means a lot to me. I appreciate every single one of those. Thank you so very, very, very much. It helps the channel a lot too, so thank you. And subscribe as well. Upload multiple times a week. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know when new videos come out. I'm sorry I've just been sitting and talking for like the last 10 or 15 minutes. It's just, guys, I am so beat. Moving a lot of plants, so sitting down just feels nice. And I hope y'all are feeling nice too. As always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye.